Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic that I am going to be sharing is habits. And here I am again with paper, little notes, except it's not really little notes, it's big notes because I do tend to get off track. And what I'm going to discuss, it's going to be into like 4 parts. So basically, these are things I've learned from habits from The Atomic Habits by James Clear. Very intriguing book. Reading parts of it definitely hit me because they are very true words. But very insightful. And I think you guys will definitely benefit from it because as soon as we keep doing certain habits, they're stuck with us no matter what, even if we don't do them as much as we do. But basically, I have learned that making efficient habits come into 4 parts. The first part that I'll be discussing is that there are 4 laws of behavior change. And I will be discussing the first part, which is making it obvious. And first thing, when it comes to making it obvious, let's start at the beginning. First off, what is habits? For me, the way I have defined habits is an action of repetition that we've done over time that we can do it subconsciously and effectively. We all have habits, from waking up, turning on the lights, brushing our teeth, going to the bathroom, eating, sleeping, scrolling on our phones for hours on end, going to school, talking to our friends. Every little thing that we do automatically is a habit. Most of the time it is unconscious, but there are times we do things that is a conscious decision, and that also helps determine the path that we go down. Another thing when it comes to habits that I have learned, it helps create our identity. Habits are actions we take that leads to one vote closer to who we want to become, both the good and the bad. So, for the first step, there are 2 sides when it comes to the book James Clear wrote. And the first part of being able to make good habits is making it obvious. The first step to know that, we have to be aware of our cues that lead to our habits. Part of the thing that he mentioned is a habit scoreboard, where we write down everything we do in a day, especially the things that come naturally because we've been doing it for so long. And figuring out what are positive habits, neutral, and negative. Neutral, I would say, is like turning on the lights, changing clothes. Basically, the stuff that we do that is neither positive or negative habits. Because we do it a lot, and just how it is, we just naturally do it without thinking it, and it rarely really affects us. Part of the main reason why we are looking for the cues is to help us be aware so that we know, because cues are the starting point of creating habits. I lost my train of thought. I'm gonna look at my notes again, which happens a lot. Two of the most common cues is time and location. We recently will learn this, especially in school, when you have to get up to go to school. Time, let's just say 6:30 a.m. You gotta wake up. So that gives you enough time to get up, start moving the ball towards, depending on what your habits are, from brushing your teeth, showering, brushing your hair, eating breakfast at home, getting your stuff ready, putting on your shoes, backpack, walking, taking the bus, or driving. Then you go to school starts at a certain time. I'll just say 7:50 because that's around the one I have gone to, where class started at 7:50. And then of course you have that schedule. And about every 50 minutes or so, it does vary depending on the class, you're in that class period to focus on that one subject. Once that bell rings, you have a 3, 4, 5 minute passing period to go on to the next. And each time that correlates, at this time you have to be in this class, which is one of the two main big cues when it comes to forming habits. I'm just currently relating it to school because that's the thing that I remember doing the most. While at home, the bathroom is a place. Or if your parents have kind of a routine, it's like, all right, around from this time to this time, you are in the kitchen for breakfast or lunch or dinner. And then from this time, you go to bed at 9, 10 o'clock, and you are in your room from that point on until you wake up. Or if you have a job, you have to be there at a certain time and the place. Those are some of the most basic cues that it always has to do with time and location. Once you become more aware of your cues, which is the starting habit, whether it is getting out of bed, you got some clothes beside you so you could change, or Another cue, you're out of bed, you see your backpack, you put it on and head out. It's simple things that is the starting point from waking up, going from one thing to another. That's the best way I could explain it from how I understood cues. Part of the reason why in the book he says make it obvious, because it needs to stand out. We tend to do things that are pretty obvious. We have our toothbrush and toothpaste in the bathroom on the counter so that when we get to it, we see it and it's like, oh yeah, better brush my teeth. Or you want to read a book, you set it aside, you make sure that when you see it, it's like, oh yeah, I better do this. By making it kind of stand out where you actually see it, it clicks. That's like, oh yeah, let's go do this, and that's just the starting point. The other side to it is making it unattractive, especially for your bad habits that you don't want. Best part is making it invisible. The best way I can describe it from reading that would be ignoring it, avoiding it, and make it less visible than the obvious habit that I want. I'll give you a few examples. My phone, especially when I want to work, the best place I made it obvious is that it's not in my sight. I leave it in another room so that when I am in my office space working, I'm not as distracted. Which all of this will also tie more into the other 3 laws that helps connect it. But basically, you gotta make it the opposite of the first one, which is making it obvious. So make it invisible. And it's okay to start small. Because when starting your habit, it's basically just showing up. Can you show up for it? And being consistent with it. That is all I could think of. Thank you for listening to my video. I would love it if you guys will like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you're interested for more of this habit videos. And if you are interested in learning more, I will leave the thoughts. It's been a day. I hope you guys enjoy and that it has been helpful. Another thing I forgot to mention. What also helps is using what is called an implementation intention, which can help you, especially when you're starting out and you want to start new habits. You could use that technique. I don't quite remember on how it goes. You can look it up. I will find out for sure. Another thing you can use is called habit stacking, from using your current habits and then immediately afterwards do the new habit that you want. For example, after I make my video, I will post my video. After I post my video, I will write. After I write, I will make supper. Something as simple as that. And when it comes to habits, these things will take time. But as you consistently do it, part of the biggest obstacle is not starting. If you practice the habit of starting, showing up, even if it's the most smallest things. If the first thing is just putting on gym clothes if you're thinking of being healthier. What can also help, after doing the cues of what you do on a day-to-day basis, make a list of habits that you want and choose the habits that is close to your more natural talents and what you're good at, but also choose some habits that you're interested in learning that are a bit more difficult, but that could also happen once you have mastered the process of showing up. Once you have that mastered of the act of showing up and doing it, then extend the time period for how long you can do it. That is all. Thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe for more content if you are interested. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Let's continue doing the work and be great. I'll see you in tomorrow's video.